Hello and welcome to Football Daily, where today we're tempting fate by ranking our 10 biggest failures of the 2020-21 season. If you're easily offended or a Schalke fan, look away now. 10. Sheffield United's transfers. The catastrophe of Sheffield United's season was all the more painful for being unexpected. The Blades were the Cinderella story of 2019-20, finishing 8th with the 4th best defence in the division, despite a squad valued at under £100 million, the lowest in the Prem. That could have seen the club deny the need for investment, but to their credit they handed Chris Wilder £56 million to bolster the squad for 2021, the second highest spend in a single season behind the previous campaign. In fact, since 2019, Sheffield United have spent £121 million, more than 9 current Premier League sides including Liverpool, but their poor signings coupled with injuries and Covid have consigned them to relegation. Aaron Ramsdale, brought in to replace Dean Henderson, has conceded a goal more than expected, while fullback signings Jayden Bogle and Max Lowe have played a combined 1,350 minutes. And while Oliver Burke has been passable, unfortunately registering just 2 goal involvements and 5 XG, Ryan Brewster is not ready to lead the line, the £23 million man failing to score or assist in 20 appearances and taking just 16 shots altogether. Shorn of Wilder's innovation and with Sander Berge likely to leave, it's hard to see a quick path back to the big time for United. 9. Inter's Champions League campaign. Inter Milan currently looks set to take home this year's Scudetto, and if Antonio Conte wins Serie A, it'll be his 5th title in his last 7 campaigns in club football, ending a decade without silverware for the Nerazzurri. But while that would be an astonishing achievement, it draws further attention to the biggest fault in Conte's CV, his continued underperformance in Europe. Of course, the Champions League is meant to be the toughest competition around, but the Italian's record is still woeful. Having taken 2.2 points per game in league play, he has managed just 1.4 a game in Europe, and has lost 11 of 34 Champions League fixtures, compared to 17 of 176 in Serie A. And 2021 was arguably his worst campaign yet, with Inter winning just once in the Champions League, finishing bottom of a group containing Borussia Mönchengladbach and Shakhtar Donetsk, with a goal difference of -2 and just 6 points. Dominant domestic form will continue to paper over the cracks for now, but amid rumours of discord between coach and board, and the financial difficulties faced by Inter's parent company Suning, Conte will need a better continental performance next year if he wants to remain in Milan. 8. Eden Hazard again. Real Madrid fans will claim that Eden Hazard's failure at the Bernabeu was impossible to foresee, but frankly they're fooling themselves. The Belgian may have missed just 21 out of 266 league games at Chelsea, but that meant he arrived in Spain on the back of 11 tough seasons and at the age of 28, when pace often starts to decrease and injuries become more frequent. That said, the decline has been especially steep. A shocking 2019-20 yielded just 4 goal involvements in La Liga and 0.45 XG per 90, the second worst of Hazard's career. But in 2021 he only has 3 goal contributions and 0.35 XG a game, the same as Jose Perez or Serge Aurier. From a previous high of 3 chances created a match, he now makes 0.5, and his progressive passes have shrunk from 7 a game to 2.5, he's down to 2.5 dribbles per 90, his lowest since 2013, and even his poor work rate has somehow deteriorated, with 10 pressures a game falling to 5. Now 30, Hazard has been linked with a switch back to the Prem, but with a rumoured price tag of £60 million, it's a risk that's tough to justify. Perhaps Italy could revive the 4-time Team of the Season nominee. 7. Pjanić Melo. It hasn't been a strong year for big transfers. Of the 12 players who cost over £40 million last summer, only Ruben Dias has been an unqualified success, with some players underperforming like Werner and Havertz, others struggling for minutes like Icardi, and many sidelined by injuries for long spells like Thomas Partey, Diogo Jota and Victor Osimhen. But 2 were bad ideas at the time and have got worse in hindsight: Arthur Melo and Miralem Pjanic. The midfielders swapped clubs last summer, with Juventus paying £65 million for the Brazilian and the Bosnian costing Barcelona £54 million, but neither are settled in different coloured stripes. Between them they've managed just 1,500 league minutes and 1 goal involvement so far, and the underlying stats are just as bad, with both passing into the final third less, both pressing less, and in particular Arthur's dribble numbers falling off a cliff from 2.2 a game to just 0.9. Pjanic's value has dropped from £40 million to £25 million in 6 months, and Arthur is at a generous £45 million, down from 50. Expensive, shady and pointless, this is a strong contender for the worst transfer ever. 6. Mourinho's second season. Jose Mourinho claims that he always wins a trophy in his second season, but even if he manages it this year, his decline is clear. At Chelsea and Real Madrid, that trophy was the title, at Inter the Champions League, and even at United he picked up the League Cup and the Europa League. While at Spurs, the League Cup is the only silverware left on the table. With top 4 looking unlikely, that doesn't seem enough, especially given that Spurs added Doherty, Reguilon, Højbjerg, Rodon and costly loans for Bale and Vinicius in the summer. Harry Kane looks set to break his record of 36 goal involvements in the league, and Son has already eclipsed his previous best. But Tottenham still have lost 9 Premier League games, exited the FA Cup, and suffered a humiliating eviction from Europe, throwing away a 2-goal first leg advantage to be dumped out by Dinamo Zagreb. A poll by The Athletic reveals that only Newcastle Steve Bruce is less popular with his own fans than Mourinho, the Portuguese managing to combine a lack of success with boring football and ruining the value of stars like Dele Alli. The sooner this toxic marriage ends, the better. 5. Celtic miss out on 10 in a row. Unbeaten after 33 match weeks in Scotland, and with a staggering 10 goals conceded in that time, it now looks like Glasgow Rangers were always set to win the SPFL this season. Steven Gerrard's team has the best attack and defence in the division, and a ridiculous plus 68 goal difference. Is 5 games from becoming invincible, and needs only 11 points from that run to boast the second highest tally in Scottish history, with Celtic's 106 in 2016-17 remaining unassailable. But Celtic were in a strong position going into the campaign. They finished 13 points clear of the Light Blues in the shortened 2019-20 season, had the best player in the country in Odsonne Edouard, and had outspent their rivals too, forking out £32 million in transfer fees since 2019, compared to Gerrard's £20.6 million. Victory would have marked the historic achievement of 10 consecutive league titles, but instead there has been a decline across the board, with the Hoops going from scoring 3 goals a game to scoring 2, and from conceding 0.6 goals a game to 0.7. If, as expected, Edouard departs this summer, Celtic will be left with a weakened squad and the prospect of a long stretch without another championship. 4. Schalke. We're placing Schalke at number 4, but frankly the Gelsenkirchen outfit could easily have made top spot in our list. One of the most decorated clubs in Germany with 7 titles, and one of the richest in the world, ranking 14th for revenue, the Royal Blues have watched their rivals overtake them since finishing second in 2018, and are now set to be relegated for the first time since 1988. Across Europe's top 5 leagues this season, Schalke have won the fewest games with just 1 victory, and have the fewest points on 10, 4 fewer than their closest rival. They also scored fewer goals than any other team, a measly 17, and while Italian minnows Crotone have conceded 3 more than the Knappen at the time of writing, they've also played 2 games more. That means that Schalke's minus 54 goal difference is the worst in Europe by 15 goals. And the only area in which they can be argued to be leading is in managers, having had 5 already this season, a German record. Last time the club was demoted, it took them 3 years to come back up. But with no star, no quality and no plan, it could be much longer before we see Schalke return to the top flight. 3. Handball. Handball should be a simple matter. Introduced in 1870 to separate the game from rugby, with players previously allowed to catch the ball, the law has been changed more in the last 2 years than in the previous 80. And as well as being unclear, it's now more decisive than ever, with 442 reporting in March that 19% of Premier League penalties this season have been given for handball, up from 14% 2 seasons ago. Previously, the rules defined handball as a deliberate act of a player making contact with the ball with the hand or arm, but they've steadily become more complicated. Accidental contact is now punished too, and officials take into account whether the arm is in a natural position and whether contact was above or below the sleeve. And despite VAR, the subjective nature of each call and the refs' attempt to protect each other means bad decisions often stand. So totally unavoidable contact between ball and arm is regularly punished with a pen, which results in a goal around 75% of the time. At this point, fans have no idea whether handball will or will not be penalised, making the game more random and tense than ever before. Check out our FD Explained on how to fix VAR to see our suggestions for sorting the system out. 2. Dortmund mess. The fact that some pundits still describe Bayern Munich as the best team in Europe shows how little they watch the Bundesliga. Of course, the German giants can beat anyone on their day, but their drop-off has been clear. Bayern have already conceded 3 more goals than they did in the whole of last season, with 4 Bundesliga sides allowing fewer, and despite Lewandowski boasting over 40 goal involvements in domestic play, their attack has gone from 2.7 xG a match to 2.3, still elite but no longer the best in the world. In that context, Dortmund's season looks like a missed opportunity. An early season blip saw them part ways with Lucien Favre despite the best underlying stats in Germany, and they've gone on to lose 9 league games, a third of their fixtures. By expected goals, their attack ranks behind both Bayern and Leipzig's, even though the Red Bulls lost Werner in the summer, and they're currently on track to finish with just 56 points, the 3rd lowest total since Klopp took over the club in 2008. With Sancho and Haaland linked with moves away, Marco Rose faces a huge task to restore BVB's place in the top 2 in 2022. 1. Liverpool. The joy of the Premier League is that you're only as good as your last game, but Liverpool fans must have expected an easier ride this season. After 30 years without a title, nearly a quarter of the club's lifespan, the Reds won the league with a record 7 games remaining in 1920, achieving the second highest points tally in league history and putting together a run of 44 matches without defeat, only bettered by Arsenal's Invincibles. Having added Jota and Thiago, Klopp's team seemed primed for another title tilt, but instead they find themselves long shots even for 4th spot, and the manner of that fall has been shocking. After 3 years unbeaten at Anfield, Liverpool have suffered 6 home losses to date, and in all have lost as many games this year as in the 3 previous years put together. They've also gone from scoring 2.2 goals a match to 1.7, and are currently on course to concede more this year than in any campaign since 2015-16, when Klopp replaced Brendan Rodgers mid-season. The Champions League may offer redemption, but with the front line all turning 29 or 30 this year, and Man City looking ominous, Liverpool may have missed their chance at establishing a dynasty. So guys, that was our list of the 10 biggest failures of the season so far. What did you guys think of it, and did we miss anything out? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel and click on the screen for another great Football Daily video, and I'll catch you next time.